Hey everyone, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Mr. Andy Rich, here on Meet the Filmmakers. Stick around, you're going to want to see this. We're here with Mr. Andy Rich. Andy Rich, it's a pleasure to see you. Always, always a pleasure. I think you're going on your 7th year in this competition, and we've loved it every single time we've had you. Excited to see what you do next. Just tell me a little bit about you and your history. What attracted you to this? What part of your past or your future makes you like this competition?
Well, the funny thing is I got started in acting because I just had a lot of free time on my hands.
Okay.
But the reason I got into this competition, I say it all the time, was because Pan American Film Division.
Okay.
My first acting job was a commercial for Yancey's Fancy.
All right, I've seen it.
With them.
Yeah.
And that's, you talking with Travis long enough, he doesn't talk about himself, but other people will for him. And, I found out about Ride of Your Life.
Yeah, remarkably successful in the 40-Hour Film Project.
And I watched that short film and I cried. You know what I mean? It hit all the right spots, like really great storytelling, and
it's emotional. It tugs at the heartstrings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is part of the success of it. I do see. So you're looking at the international level of the 40-Hour Film Project. What has made it through? What gets to Filmapalooza from other cities? Oftentimes it's something wildly unique, something that really is hard emotional hit, or things that are like extremely clever and fun. And that one hit really hard on the very relatable, emotional family story. Everyone, for good or bad, has a family because you have to if you were born to have parents. So even if it didn't go well, you still had a family at some point, and everyone can absolutely relate to the family story. So you're one of the success stories that I really like to see in the 40-Hour Film Project because admittedly, your first films had some pretty major technical problems, and now you're one of the top performing teams 7 years later with real crispy films and doing a real solid performance. So for us to be able to watch that progression is pretty magical, and it's part of the reason that we do this. It's fun to see everyone grow. What is your favorite part overall of this competition?
I like to interact with the other teams, honestly. I have a lot of admiration for the teams that I looked up to when I started, obviously Pan Am, but, Pizza Dog, Fighting Mongoose, and it's funny, I always say this, and I don't mean this to come off as like some kind of like egotistical thing, but I find that every year when I participate in the 48, I'll get 3 or 4 jobs lined up for the coming year just because I did the 48. And
awesome.
Because people get to see your work and you get to talk to people that are like-minded and actively working in the industry. And really, I don't know, I got bit by the acting bug.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden you're producing your own films so that you can act more. And then all of a sudden you're not even acting in your films anymore. And
that's the path. You become a director. A lot of celebrities end up being directors and stuff and producers over time. It's the progression of things. You want more, you want bigger, you see how it goes on the film set, and you are able to control it at that point. So you're leveling up and you're leveling up. Your film in 2024, is it your favorite, or are there other films from your past that you like more? What are your thoughts on that?
It's funny because you brought up that some of our earlier films had technical issues, and we have. Really,
I was talking really about the first one.
We had those technical issues, but the film itself still had a story to it. It wasn't that bad.
You were able to turn it on its head and fix it. But you had to, you had an out-of-control moment there where you had to right the ship. And even for your first year to have to right a ship like that is pretty tough. What do you think is like the biggest challenge for you when you do these things?
Honestly, the past couple of years, it's been trying to top whatever we've done.
That's hard. Yeah, you keep doing your best. And then it's like, not to spook you, but it's very hard to always do your best every time. It's so hard. And everyone wants to do better. And to be honest with you, most people have an upward trajectory, but then every once in a while, it just doesn't happen. But
there's the fear of plateau.
There's so many variables too. You can't like really know what you're going to do in advance. So it's really hard to say we're going to take whatever we're given and we're going to ramp up what we did last year. We're going to improve so much. That's hard.
The competition is steep in Buffalo. The competition here is by far and away much more, competitive than New York City. If you look at the top 10 films that won in New York City, no shade on New York, but they don't get the same. Here, it's like, we're competing against literal film studios.
Sure.
And then amateurs that just have so much resources at their disposal. And then some amateur teams that pull a really awesome, funny film out of nowhere. And in New York, it's funny because it's not like that. I think any one of our top 10 teams here would easily place, top film nomination in New York if it was submitted.
That's cool. I know their program isn't as big as you'd think it would be in New York. There's like Toronto has over 100 teams, I think well over 100 teams. LA's got a lot. New Mexico is huge. So there's some out there that are like juggernauts. You'd think that New York would be. And I think about it sometimes. I wonder, like, do people think in New York like, oh, I'm, too big for that or something? Whereas in this market, people are like, yeah, let's have fun and do it. And then that market, maybe it's like, oh, I think I'm bigger than this. And nobody's bigger than this. Nobody is at all. There's been real Hollywood celebs in these things before. It happens.
The winner of New York last year had a celeb.
Okay, well, that's it.
But I don't know if I really cared for the film because the story was very boring. One location, and to be fair, one location is good.
Makes it easier. Makes it easier. Yeah. But, every time you have to switch locations is tough. Let's pivot to that. So, what kind of tips do you have for other people out there?
One location. No. There's a couple of really good tips. Obviously, the less setups you have to do, the better. We shoot dialogue in both directions simultaneously. We roll on rehearsals, stuff like that. But what's the biggest tip I could give? I guess it's gather your locations early, and then the biggest concern is writing. I think, because it can be really hard to be like, okay, well, we don't know what genres we're going to get, so we don't know what kind of locations we can get. Get some basic locations. If you have a house and a car, that's like 90% of all films that have won in the past 10 years. Yeah. How many, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you'll find a way to write around the location, but that's what I suggest. Write around your locations.
Like what you were saying about having a little, like a roster of locations too. The more you can lock in, the more flexibility you have. And it's really hard to get permission for a location on a Saturday when you think of it because you want it. Way easier if you're talking a week or two in advance and you're getting permission from someone. So the scramble factor is not going to help anyone.
Right.
What's your game plan for 2025? Do you have anything new and exciting?
I'm a little nervous, honestly, for 2025 because I've moved to Buffalo.
Okay.
So we're not going to be based in Leroy, which is where we have in the past.
All right. You have a lot of resources out there.
I have a ton of resources out there.
Yeah.
We have like so many locations, and then that factory.
Yeah.
We've just...
Nothing's stopping you from doing it.
I mean, we have that opportunity to go there, but like...
It's an arrow in your quiver.
I don't know if you remember when you were visiting sets, it was too far to come to see us.
Yeah, no, we couldn't make it out there, yeah.
Well, travel time is a big issue when you're trying to keep everything in the day.
Sure, yeah, of course.
But, we haven't really run into that time squeeze in a long time just because, the more you do the competition, the more you get the feel for, we have probably between 4 and 6 minutes of footage right now, so we're doing really good. 3 p.m. We can break for lunch right now because we basically have 2 scenes left. It's not going to take us more than 2 hours. I know how long these things are going to take now, so we don't worry so much about that.
That's pro tip, because when people are starting out, they're shooting Saturday morning, they're doing pickups at Saturday at 4, and you're like, Sunday at 4, and then you're in trouble if you're doing pickups at Sunday at 4. But people get it in by the skin of their teeth. It's like you just barely get that film in, and you have it on lock. You're wrapping up on Saturday. You're ready for editing that night, editing the next day. Do you edit overnight?
We used to, but
don't have to anymore. It's a good place to be. Get some rest.
Not really. Yeah, I just found that if you let people rest, on Friday night we are there writing no longer than 11 p.m. If there's anything that needs to be done after 11 p.m., I will stay up and do it. But I need to get people home because I want them there ready to roll at 9 and fresh. And, another pro tip, you can use a boom and lavs at the same time.
This is true. Yeah. That's backup is not a bad thing to have. People hide the mic sometimes. You can have like a DJI wireless.
I'm pretty sure we had a wireless on that picnic table.
Okay.
What's the name of my film? Pipe Dream?
Pipe Dream, yeah.
Not to be confused with Pipe Dreams.
Yeah, that's confusing.
The musical from...
Wait, no, Plunged. No. That's your other one. Your other one's Plunged.
Yeah, but there was a musical that year
with
named
Chloe
Pipe
Weiser Fisher. Yeah. She was the actress that did that one, and she was a star that year.
Yeah,
I don't think she's been back either.
Oh, that's a shame.
Last, who in this competition? You already got ahead of me on this one. Who are you looking out for this year? Or who do you want to see not looking out for, not like who you're intimidated by, but who do you want to see? Whose film?
It's a tough one for a number of reasons because of the admiration I have for a lot of teams. We're rooting for Pizza Dog 3.0 to win.
All right.
They just hit all the boxes every year, and so the team that we're rooting for aside from Pizza Dog is 38 Gigabytes. Cameron, they are there. Like when I was talking earlier about don't make mistakes, they don't anymore.
It's crisp and solid, yeah.
And now it's funny because I personally believe if I were a judge, that the competition is really starting to come down to storytelling.
Yes. There was a time when you could get real far by having great cinematography and a cool camera. The playing field is relatively even with people having good cameras, not necessarily being great cinematographers, but the level of the camera work coming out of it is all so much better than it was years and years ago because better cameras exist, people are using them more, and it's just more of a part of life. But it used to be, if you had the one, this is many years ago, but if you had the one that was shot on a DSLR that looked like a film, you were instantly top 10 because it just looked real. Now they all look real. It's cool because they are real.
Also, one quick spoiler before we depart, which I don't normally do.
Okay.
But this year...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, because we always try to do something special each year to up our game.
Okay.
This year, our big focus is going to be on lighting and camera movement.
All right. Excellent.
Because just... and shout out to Denny's team, which I can't remember. Denny Kremlis, amazing guy.
Squeezing things.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When I think about his film, I don't think of all the story and stuff. I think of the shot where you can see Steve in the kitchen through this doorway.
Okay.
And you forget that, does dialogue always have to be like this?
No, it doesn't.
Can we get the camera in another room? That's the type of thinking that Denny brings to the table that it just reminded me, what are we doing?
Get outside
why
the
are
box.
we, and they've got all these lights faking the sun and stuff. And it's we never do any of that. And then why? I fight with my team every year. Can we get actual lighting and shadows and stuff? So this year, that's what I am going to be focused on, is making sure that it looks cinematic.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to see what you make because I always love seeing what you do. And if you're acting in it, I'll see you on the big screen. That's Meet the Filmmakers. We'll see you at the screenings, and I can't wait.